The honourable member for Lalor.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I too rise today to speak on this matter of public importance, the government's failure to plan for the jobs of the new economy. And Deputy Speaker, I would open my comments by sharing an observation I have about some of the things we've heard across this week. Today I came into the chamber to prepare for a 90-second statement, Deputy Speaker, to hear Minister Morrison, the member for Cook, berating the Leader of the Opposition in his absence, suggesting that the shuttle bus from the school gate to Centrelink will not run under this government. Deputy Speaker, I was appalled. I was offended, absolutely offended. The member for Cook needs to know that the young people in my electorate are very much looking forward to the Cook's tour of a life in poverty that he's planning with his social services changes. No plans for the future for the young people in my electorate. No plans to train the young people in my electorate, Deputy Speaker. I'd also share another observation, and that is that in my life, and I know in speaking to many educators and many students across the course of my life, obviously having spent so much time actually in a place where learning occurred, that I think those opposite misunderstand the drivers for learning. They believe that competition motivates people to learn. Deputy Speaker, I've always found in my life and those of my students that a clear purpose for learning generally motivates people to learn.
Right.
And what we've got here is actually a government that has no clear purpose, has no purpose around jobs, has no purpose around education, has no purpose around training, Deputy Speaker. And we know this by their actions. We know that they don't have a clear purpose. They don't have a clear purpose that young people can latch onto and go, this government understands what I need and this government has a plan for my future, and this government's going to create things in my community that will help me get to that future. They don't want to engage with communities like mine. They want to punish the young people in communities like mine. And they've punished even those who are at work. Lots of rhetoric about those who perhaps have lost their jobs, but what about those who are at work? The cuts to the apprenticeship programs, Deputy Speaker. Heartbreaking. The member for Cunningham and I have stood with apprentices in my electorate, and we heard from them firsthand what the Tools of the Trade program meant for them. We heard from them firsthand they had no intention of taking out a loan that would put them into debt so that they could continue their indenture to complete their trade. Deputy Speaker, there's a mindset that comes across the chamber that just doesn't seem to understand the importance of education and training.
That's right.
Not to mention today we had the Minister for Education on his feet at question time, highly amusing me. You know, he's appointed a new person on his curriculum review team whose first public statements were about back to basics, backed up by Minister Pyne today. We're going to do more numeracy, more literacy, more time. We're going to do maths and science by inquiry. We're going to do code. He didn't even blush that you can't do all those things at once. He didn't even blush that you can't create time in the curriculum out of thin air to do all of these things. He was going to do more of everything, Deputy Speaker. There is no plan for education. This government's Minister for Education doesn't care about education. I've said 7 times this week, if he showed as much passion for education as he does the CFMEU, every school kid in this country would have a set purpose.
That's right.
And, Deputy Speaker, there are other really important examples. The member for Kingston, who was on her feet today, came to my electorate to the Little River Primary School, and we met a young mother there, a young mother with 2 children, who was engaged in education and training through programs set up by the former Labor government, who was standing there trying to fight a cut to the out-of-school hours care that was being impinged on her community, only to tell us the story of how many cuts she'd faced as a single mother in a TAFE program. Slash, slash, slash. No concern, no care. Deputy Speaker, this government needs to get serious. This government needs to get to work. They need to get a purpose. They need to think about jobs of the future. They need to identify the disruptors. They need to do some work. Their new paper just suggests pushing that work onto somebody else, whether it be state, family or the individual.